Up on today's menu, delicious beer boiled Italian sausages and some homemade steak fries. So let's get to the kitchen. All right, so it's a big game day here, and we are going to prepare our beer brats and homemade French fries. We're going to start with the fries actually because they take a little bit longer than the beer brats. So what I have here is one fine baking potato. It's a relatively large size. Hello. And what we're going to do is just slice it up. All right, so I've chopped up my potatoes, leaving the skin on. It adds a little bit of flavor to it and crisps up on the ends. Toss them in here to our handy dandy mixing bowl. Like I said before, if you don't have one of these, they're really cheap to pick up and you'll use them for a lot of different recipes. So I'm gonna go ahead and use our mister here, which you may have seen me use before. Basically, it is a hand pump that compresses whatever you decide to put into it. I've put some extra virgin olive oil in it, and that will give the potatoes here a nice coat. Now you can really season these with whatever you want. You can add a salt and pepper blend, go straight up like that. You can add some Parmesan cheese, some basil. I'm actually going to use, what I have here is a rub for doing pork tenderloin. It's a series, it's peppercorn, garlic, a little bit of rosemary, and a couple other seasonings here. It kind of gives it that steak fry taste. And speaking of rosemary, I'm actually going to add a little bit of some dried rosemary as well. To go along with the garlic and the olive oil taste. But really, you can season these however you want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a toss. Reach my hands in there. Make sure they're nice and evenly coated. And the key is not to use too much liquid. You don't want to use too much oil. If you use too much oil, then it takes the potatoes a lot longer to cook. Because basically you're drying them out in the oven and creating a French fry. Go ahead and spray the same olive oil here on our baking pan. And go ahead and spread out our fries. These are a little bit different than your store-bought French fries you pull out of the freezer because they are not cooked already, as opposed to those that are. So you want to make sure they have a lot of room, they have a lot of moisture in them, they are fresh vegetables. They're basically made of water and starch, so we want to dry out all the water and enjoy the delicious starch and the flavoring we've put on it. So you're going to go ahead and heat your oven to 450 degrees and pop them on in there. Delicious beer. Now, of course, if you're not of age, you shouldn't be drinking any beer. But beer can make a great cooking asset, just like wine. This is my own little special homebrew right here. What we're going to do is I've purchased Italian sausages from the store. Whoop, still in the link, very fresh. I prefer to buy them fresh and not frozen because usually these are made in-house at your local grocery store, and they, the fresher, the better. What we're going to do is add some things. We're going to make kind of a stock, if you will, to boil the brats in. I live in the city. I don't have access to a grill very readily, so this is an easy dish you can do if it's snowing outside, if you have a lot of people over. It's something you can easily do in your kitchen that does not require a grill. All right, so I've taken our fries out of the oven. I let them cook for about 20 minutes. They are nice and roasted. You'll tell when they start to bubble up here and be brown that they are good to go. You want to make sure they're cooked enough and not till the brats are ready. Delicious, delicious steak fries, homemade, here on Quick Bites. Now we just have to wait for the brats. No. I like Fidelia onions because they make me cry less. I'm going to go ahead and just break these up a little bit with my hands and add the onions into our stock pot. We're going to go ahead and add a 12-pack of my own home brew to the stock pot. So go ahead and add one can at a time to the onions. And don't forget to recycle your can. All right, I said 12 to begin with, but it really depends on your pot size. So I've added about 4 cans of beer to the pot stock, and I've turned on our boiler to high, and I'm gonna let those go ahead and get to a nice roaring boil. Now, a roaring boil is when there are bubbles furiously coming up from the bottom and spilling over inside the pot, not making a mess. But you'll know when you see it. And they've been boiling about 15 minutes. I'm going to give them another 5 or so, but they should be pretty much ready to go. All right, so I've let them boil for about 20 minutes, and they are just about finished. You'll notice on the edges it'll start to be breaking out there, and it'll turn this lovely gray color. And you're going to go ahead and just drop these onto a plate, let them cool down a little bit. Now, a warning and heed, my friends. These now have been filled with hot boiling beer. So if you bite into them right away, you're most likely to get squirted with hot boiling beer in your mouth, and what a mess. So our sausages are finished and our French baked French fries are done. We're going to go ahead and load up a bun. I have here the poppy seed bun, the traditional hot dog bun of the city of Chicago. Take one of our sausages, go ahead and drop it on in the bun. If you like the onions, you can go ahead. They are well flavored with beer and cooked now. Add those on top and add your favorite condiments. If you're in the city, you might want to add some neon green relish, a pickle slice, 2 pepperoncinis, and mustard, never any ketchup. But if you are more of a traditional person, you can go ahead and add ketchup, mustard, whatever you want. Serve it on a plate with some fries and enjoy. So there you go, a meal for the big game. I'm Joey DiFranco, the host of Quick Bites, and we'll see you around.